Hi everybody, we are the Parkers. And today we wanted to talk to you about communication. So Tramel, why don't you tell the people a little bit about communication?
Communication. Communication is... Our communication topic today is about fighting fair. Fighting fair is no name calling, no degrading of your spouse, and no cussing.
No cussing?
No cussing.
Like not even like one little slip of a word? Not even like the A word?
No.
The D word? But what if you're just saying it and you're not saying it to the person? Okay, so no potty mouth.
No potty mouth.
That's a challenge.
That is a challenge, but it will be that much of a healthy argument than the traditional argument that most of us are used to.
We were taught to call it intense fellowship. Okay, communication. As you were saying. Sorry, the camera cut off.
So basically, no cussing like we said. None at all. I know, but you can't cuss. Fighting fair is the most healthiest way you can communicate to your spouse, and it shows that the other person is listening when you fight fair. Would you like to give an example of that?
Such as in the midst of a fight. Okay.
You know, basically set your agenda to the side and actually listen to your spouse. That goes for both men and women. Even though we all know sometimes the women.
Okay, what about this? Now, I'm pretty sure, ladies, you guys out there want to know what's up with the shutting down. Why is that like a big no-no? And what are some tips for the guys to be able to get past the whole shutting down? Because guys, I think you guys tend to do a lot more than us girls, because we usually want to keep pushing the issue and talking about things right away, and you guys are really just like, whatever, y'all are good at that. Good at that.
Yeah, you're right. I first starting off was the king of shutting down. I shut things down. But the key to preventing shutting down from occurring is also by fighting fair. As your ladies, if you're not going for the jugular all the time towards your husband, he may be more.
Wait a minute.
But just give me a second. I'm going somewhere. He may be more open to projecting his feelings or communicating to you more thoroughly than just suddenly just saying, whatever, I don't care, whatever the case may be. Same for the guys. Don't go so hard or try to stab your wife in the heart or in the back, trying to get your point across. Effectively get your point across without arguing, without cussing and calling her out of her name.
What about pride? Like, is any of that pride, or is that...
Well, pride comes into play because
I mean, because like if they're wrong, you know, because...
Well, the hardest thing coming about is to admit that when you're wrong. When you can admit when you're wrong, it becomes that much easier for the relationship to form a strong bond, to work with each other instead of always finding fault in that individual. Now, when that person does admit that they're wrong, it is not your responsibility to say, I told you so.
Never say I told you so. Either person should never say I told you so. And when you're communicating and you're fighting fair, it's just a point that these are things that you're going to have to just commit within yourself. It's not the other person's responsibility. It's your responsibility to make sure that no matter what, you're making sure that you keep yourself held accountable for the rules. Because in the midst of an argument, the other person's not going to sit there and honestly, you know, without using it as a tactic to win the fight, remind you of the things that you guys agreed to. I mean, they may, but more often than not, they're not. So you're going to have to really commit yourself to staying grounded in those things that you said that you would not do in the middle of an argument. Like name calling, like, you know, storming off and leaving, shutting down. You know, if you're already in an argument and things are going a bit too far, then yeah, by all means, you need to communicate the fact that you want to table the conversation. I think that's just one thing that has worked for me is I'll table the conversation in a minute, you know, and I'll revisit it. That's also very important. So you never want to table a conversation and tell your person that you're not going to talk about it, and you never explain to them when you're going to talk about it. So if you're going to take time to chill out, calm yourself down, that's fine, but you need to give them a time frame. Hey, I need 10 minutes. Give me about an hour. Give me a day. Can we talk about it in the morning? I promise we'll have a full conversation in the morning. Because when you continue to delay and defer arguments and conversations, the situation just gets worse. And it starts to fester, and that person continues to grow this resentment towards you about the fact that they never got a chance to talk to you about things. So.
And Keys, those are excellent examples that you gave, Capitola, but also...
Thank you.
Also it's also very important that you do revisit it instead of just saying, you know what, we're okay. Let's just continue on with our day. No matter how small or how large the situation may be, it's always key that you revisit the situation.
A good tip that was given to us was to SAP, Stop and Pray. And I can't sit here and say that we have mastered that 100%. You know, it's a works in progress. You know, you talk to people who've been married 50 years, 40 years, or whatever, and they continue to say that every day they learn something new. Every year is something new. No one day should look like the other, you know. But really just working on applying the things that you've learned, applying the things that you've heard, applying them to your relationship. You have to want it bad enough to really try and work at these things and really try and put them into action. So stopping and praying, which yourself sometimes you get really upset and angry. And, you know, maybe we don't want to join the other person and pray. But if you can stop, gather yourself, pray, calm yourself down. I mean, who's really upset after they pray like that? You know, other tips people gave us were to hold hands in an argument. I don't know how realistic that is, but if, again, these things are only as real as you make them. So, you know, again, if you want it bad enough, really make it your point to try and open up yourself, humble yourself enough to understand that your spouse is not trying to be some evil, mean, malicious person. They really are, you know what I mean? And if they are, then that's a whole other conversation that you guys need to have. So once you remind yourself in the midst of an argument, like, hey, this person didn't do this intentionally, I'm pretty sure there's a logical explanation to why we're having this conflict. Let's get to the bottom of it, then things should start to move along. Okay, guys, so we want to hear from you. So be sure to submit your questions, any comments, or anything that you want us to possibly talk about next, anything that you want to discuss, any problems that you may be having, maybe something that you heard, maybe it was a hypothetical situation that didn't really involve you, that you wanted to talk about. Keep it on the marriage topic. We'll take relationship topics, anything like that, anything we can do to help you and your partner out, we will definitely get around to it. Either answering your questions directly, or perhaps it's a question that came up frequently and we can answer it in another video.
Yep.
Alrighty, so until then, just remember that you guys are a team. Teamwork makes the dream work. And, yeah.
Divorce is not an option.
Divorce is not an option. Even if you want to, it's not an option.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.